I've told you times without number, get involved by demanding that the electoral process be taken away from thieves and crooks, so that the likes of Yakubu will not come in the middle of the night in 2027 to be telling you to go to court, because the court they are telling you to go to is already an accomplice in the evil that has overtaken the land. Randy Peter is doing a fantastic job, and shame on all of you who have not found the grace to amplify the work that that young man is doing. He will probably be the one, if you follow him, if you amplify his word, that will save you from having to carry guns in due course. Because what is obvious is that this cannot continue. Something has to give somewhere. It cannot be that the cost for repairing a bridge, the third mainland bridge as announced by Umahi, is probably enough to build a brand new one with some change left over. It cannot be, and then all of you will just keep quiet, and then we'll just move on and be waiting for 2027. That is not the action of conscious people, and certainly animals will not allow that in the jungle. So you are not a jungle. It is not possible that you continue to sit down because you sat down and you did nothing about the Calabar Coastal Road. They've moved it a notch further. Now they are telling you they want to spend all that money to repair third mainland. How many times do they repair third mainland, for heaven's sake? And then Keyamo is telling you it requires 702 billion to renovate Muritala Mohammed. How much would it take to build a brand new one? And you are all quiet. Instead of focusing on that, you are busy abusing his Igbo, his Omo Igbo, his Yoruba bone, all kind of idiocy comes out of your mouth constantly instead of focusing on the issues that should concern you. I have said enough for one day. More than half a word has been said today. Your capacity to hear is another ball game entirely. But I go to my bed at night, sleeping well in the knowledge that history will absolve me. I've done my bit. I did not keep quiet when it was more convenient to be quiet. You need to get off your lazy asses and do something about your situation, or your children will inherit the slavery that is already around your neck.
As much as I believe that electoral reform is what we need, but let us also understand that these suggestions are what we obtain in a sane environment. Now, is Nigeria a sane environment? Your guess is as good as mine. Let me tell you something. Even if God comes down and write an electoral reform for Nigerians, as much as the people that are saddled with the responsibility of enforcing those reforms decide that they will not enforce it, nothing will happen. We've been having reforms. There was reform before Jonathan was elected in. There was reform before Buhari was elected in. There was reform before Tinubu was elected in. In all these reforms, none of the reforms were adhered to. Now, am I against reform? Please, no, I'm not against reform. Reform is good. In fact, orderliness is good. What is the use of orderliness if the people refuse to be orderly? The problem with Africa, Nigeria in particular, is that we have refused to follow constituted authority because we believe there are no consequences. Until Africans begin to believe that there are consequences for their actions, we will never see the best out of them. Nigerians are the best law abiders anywhere in the world, only if they know that there are consequences to their actions. Remember war against the discipline. Indomie generation, you will not understand. During war against the discipline, hey, Niger, you want to enter bus, you go queue. You enter bank, you go queue. You can't rush for anything. Everybody hold their own. Everybody followed law to the letter. Everybody followed law to the letter. So what happened? Consequences disappeared. What I want Nigerians to tell INEC and judiciary is simple. All these people they see Tinubu, his followers, INEC, security, judiciary, forget it. Forget it, all of them, forget it. If then the day these people that have called INEC, Tinubu, judiciary, army, security in general, the day they know that the people have come together to take back their country, I swear to God, they will fall in line. For me, electoral reform is good, but let them know that. Let INEC, judiciary, security, army, everybody, including Tinubu, let them know that if you try anything in 2027 by rigging, you will have consequences. You will have to deal with the consequences of the people. No matter how dictatorial anybody is, Adolf Hitler, any dictator you have seen, they are as powerful as the ignorance of the people. The day the people realize that, hey, it's time to take up our country, that's the end of any power of any dictator. So what I'm saying is simple. As much as we are crying for electoral reforms, let us also know that those who will implement these reforms, they will be met with consequences. If you touch 2027, make sure that your children are out of the country. Make sure that your properties in Nigeria are protected. You see, Nigerians, we are too afraid. They go arrest me, then go arrest me, then go detain me, DSS go follow. So long as you let them know that you have this fear, they will do whatever they want to do. Am I a proponent of violence? No. But if the people that are saddled with the responsibility of keeping the law says that, hey, the people will not do anything, therefore let us mismanage the law and do anything we are, then we, the people, are the ones that are responsible for our problems, are the ones that are the causative agents for our problem. So what do? We have to let them know that there are consequences, and we must deal with them if they fail to do what is right. I am not against Tinubu. If Tinubu comes into a free and fair election and he wins, I will congratulate him. But when you come into an election with the concept of grab it, snatch it, run away with it, fake bishops, judiciaries that don't want cameras to catch their faces, INEC that declares result at 4 a.m. in the night when people have gone to sleep. My brother, you don't own the country. I own the country as much as you own it too. So if you're going to spoil my part of the country, you should be punished. And that is what we are preparing for you. You do what is right, or we unright.
We are asking for electoral reforms because we want political inclusivity. Nobody should be left out. Everybody should be allowed to vote freely and to vote their consciences. And they should be able to vote without the fear of any form of attack. Because we saw it where people were attacked. We saw that woman that had half of her face covered in blood just because she went out to vote, to perform her civic duty. And yet, people were not prosecuted. Another reason we're asking for electoral reform, right, is technological integration. This one, I just beg. How can we be at this age and time where technology is getting easier and sweeter by the day? Why are we not leveraging technology to enhance that transparency and efficiency and, of course, the security of the electoral process? Why? I'll tell you why. Politicians know that the moment they introduce technology in its true sense, a lot of these things that they get away with, they will not see. Look at what happened in some parts in Kano, where we saw children voting. All of these things, when technology is in place and of course it is effectively deployed, it will not only bring efficiency, it will also secure the electoral process that we can monitor. We were here, right here in Nigeria, monitoring how the votes were being counted in the US. That is because they have leveraged technology. I joined different podcasts when the US elections was ongoing. They were live there. Everybody was collating results. So as the mainstream media, they were collating their results. Podcasters were collating results. Everybody was collating results. Why? Because the process is driven heavily by technology. I want our election process to be unquestionable.
You know, Nigeria, we are in a dilemma, and it is a very unfortunate situation that we find ourselves, that we are in the hands of people who have no business to be in governance in the first place. We have impoverished more lives with this maladministration of Tinubu, who succeeded Buhari, who was a calamity in his own right. So
what was a calamity?
I mean, an unmitigated disaster. Tinubu unfortunately came and he said that there was no plan to succeed, because it was just a turn to fulfill political dynasty. But talking about economic stability and all of that, remember that Tinubu came into power and said he wanted to, start from where Buhari stopped.
Yes.
And then on day one of your presidency, you said subsidy regime is gone. These are the same people who protested against removal of subsidy by the Jonathan administration in 2011.
Yes.
Imagine if that subsidy was removed at that time. Jonathan, as bad as people thought he was, even had a plan. There was Shopee, there was You Win. You came and made a reckless statement. Who in the history of leadership will take out subsidy, will float the economy on the same administration without any cushioning effect? And that is what even the Director General of the WTO is saying. You stabilize the economy, but the economy has to grow because more people have been pushed into multidimensional and extreme poverty. But you who came and knew that you needed to stabilize the economy did not wait for 2 years before you bought a new presidential jet. You budgeted money for office of First Lady, started renovating houses in Dodan Barracks, sharing money amongst yourself and governors without any meaningful, impact being made. So the undoing of this government is the fact that there is no preparation for good governance. Unfortunately, Nigerians are the ones who are paying with their lives.
But Peter, do you think there would have been a better time for the president to say that maybe a better time to plan the subsidy removal and the floating of the forex? Remember,
yes,
when upon his inauguration, the immediate past president, late President Muhammadu Buhari, said that it is believed to have said that if Tinubu had gotten to Aso Rock and then wanted to remove subsidy, that some persons within the Aso Rock would have said he should not remove it. So it was better for him to at the Eagle Square to say that subsidy is gone.
Mr. Victor, let nobody try to bamboozle Nigerians.
Yes.
The problem with Nigeria is not payment of subsidy.
Yes.
Subsidy is paid in different countries in different forms. If you go to Europe, what they enjoy as medical benefits and other welfare packages or social security are subsidies. The problem with Nigeria is a corruption and criminality problem. You can say subsidy regime is gone. The question is the corruption in the oil sector gone? That is why today the devil is in the detail. When you say you have taken subsidy, Mr. Victor, where is all the money that has been saved from removal of subsidy?
You can leave the missile.
Okay.
Just call me Victor.
So Victor,
I'm not Afolabi.
Afolabi is no, maybe for Tumbawa Shiwaju. So now, today, after removing subsidy, the government has borrowed the last letter that is sent to the National Assembly. We are to borrow both in euro, in pound, and in Chinese yuan. 3 currencies. After a country saved money from subsidy.
Okay, so let me ask Afolabi.
So where is that money?
Afolabi, where is the money?
The money is being given to the governors. You can see that no governor is running that scatter to go and borrow money from another country or bank anymore.
So is it that the federal government is borrowing for and on behalf of the government? Is that what you're saying?
That is what has been happening before. Even during late President Muhammadu Buhari, they had to go and print money. They have to. They printed 20 trillion. They printed money. Yeah. Even the whole of CBN vote was they took the whole money there, give it to the government.
So you blame the government of former President Buhari. You blame him?
I did.
Wow.
I did.
Interesting.
But it's APC.
But it is
APC. This is APC.
It was APC government. But the plan behind the steering, they have the wherewithal that each other. Look at when the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he came with sound policies.
Like which of them? Like which of the sound policies?
This floating of forex, this removal before the removal of subsidy, the budget given to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the subsidy has already been removed.
Yes, in fairness to him, yes, and subsidy was only paid for the month of June 2024.
Because let me tell you something. What if Bola Ahmed Tinubu had not announced that very day, Nigerians, you know the way we behave, they would have gone to him. Oga, don't do this thing. So many they will just apply pressure upon him that this thing cannot be done because it.
But he said they should
if you know that
no matter what happened today, Nigerians will still bear the brunt of what is happening in Nigeria. They are in government. And they have to do what they need to do.
No, Nigeria will not bear the brunt. Look, if you have good and competent leadership, if you have good and competent leadership, with all due respect, from day one as a leader, you will know where a country is headed. Nigeria is where we are today because we have a rudderless set of persons who have no business with leadership and have been holding the entire country hostage. If President Tinubu today, after 2 years in office, is talking about stabilizing economy, remember that for 8 years of Buhari administration, it was a complaint about 16 years of PDP. So what did Buhari do for 8 years? And where did Tinubu say he was going to begin from? If today we are talking about stabilizing economy, so you can see that it is just a pawn and Nigerians are the ones who are the victims of this chess game. If you talk about saying you want to, take about the forex reserve and float the economy, who talks about forex when you are not even talking about building a system that is productive? The problem with Nigeria is that we are not a productive nation. More than 70% of what we consume is imported, and you are not being able to sincerely end insecurity to build the capacity of the country.
So you have a thing against consumption?
Nigeria being a consuming country.
It is not having a thing. There is no country that can grow without being a productive nation. How can you be? Are you the market or the dumping ground of the world where everybody comes to? We have more than 200 million ingenious and intelligent people. How is this not being able to translate into? We are not even able to process and refine the oil that we produce. More than 90% of our revenue comes from oil. Yet we spend money servicing refineries that are producing nothing. Today now everybody is with Dangote. Tomorrow there is problem. Next tomorrow there is problem. So even if we are unable to produce anything, the oil that we produce here cannot even be refined here.
Would you propose that we sell those refineries that are moribund?
They have already.
They are moribund.
They are completely. They are not just moribund. They are a criminal tube. They are an institution of criminality. How do you service billions running a project or whatever, an equipment that produces nothing to the country? It is a drain tube. Have you seen the accounts of the NNPC?
It's affecting
what Nigeria is experiencing currently is the ghost of the Buhari administration. Buhari is the seed of failure and incompetence that was planted by APC that has given birth to Tinubu as an offspring. So both of them complement each other.
Mike, do you have fire extinguisher?
So what I'm trying to say,
we need fire extinguisher.
What I'm trying to say is that when because he even made mention of the fact that from money saved from subsidy, the money is being distributed to governors. Victor, we should be very careful and serious about leadership. When Tinubu came and said he wanted to remove subsidy, was the statement that he will remove subsidy and share money to governors? What is the point of giving money to the other tiers of government without accountability? When till date, there are governors who are still making excuses for not being able to pay 70,000 minimum wage in this economy. How do you increase money to people without accountability? That is the same thing that this same government, look at the mischief. You are talking about local government autonomy, and I have insisted, local government autonomy without accountability is decentralizing corruption. What you are saying is that the governors have been eating too much, so let other local governors, chairmen eat, so that we mobilize them as grassroots supporters. Look at the same government that was talking about local government autonomy. Look at the peace deal according to them that they reached in River State. That the incumbent governor should not even be interested in taking part in what would be called chairman of local government, because the agreement they suspended the state of emergency. That the suspended governor will not take part. Why? Because the person allegedly to pick local government chairman will be a former governor. For a president who is talking about local government autonomy,
that person you are alleging is a member of the PDP
and seated in the cabinet of the APC as a federal executive.
He's working with Peter. He reports to duty with Peter, and then he goes to look at Paul at night.
So you can see that in Nigeria today, there is nothing like governance. What we are doing is politics, and that is why Tinubu is the first person who came to power in 2023.
Politics is governance activity.
Politics is an activity that brings in a government that takes care of the welfare of the people. The constitution says that the welfare and security of the people will be the primary responsibility of government. If you fail to secure the lives of people and their properties, you push more people into extreme and multidimensional poverty. You have no business in governance, and that is why today Tinubu came in 2023, and this is one of the first governments that started campaign the same year they came into power. Everywhere you go, you are seeing 2027.
Afolabi will disagree with
he can decide. I am not speaking about things that fairy tales. I'm telling you what is on ground. Go to Abuja. Once you are entering from everywhere you see neighbor to neighbor, let your voice be heard of Ashiwaju. We are supposed to be experiencing renewed hope. In this level of renewed hopelessness and despondency, you are talking about another 4 years. Oga, finish the one that is at hand now. Let us see how Nigerians will say
it's within his rights to seek re-election,
and it is within our right to seek good governance.
Sure, they were going.
So will you support Peter Obi?
No, Peter Obi is not the choice of my president. But let us give him chance. Let us see what he can.
You know what I will say, Victor and Afolabi. In our defense of governance, let us, as much as we can, try to know that we are the collateral for bad governance.
True.
And it should not always be about our personal sentiments, maybe tribe, ethnicity, political affiliation. Let us, for once.
Is anybody in this studio guilty of that? Is Afolabi guilty of that?
No, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know where his own support comes from. It may be such that he believes outrightly in the capacity of Tinubu. It is possible.
Maybe he thinks in our local.
So what I am saying is that we must think about the welfare of Nigeria. If he didn't day, he didn't day. If a person is incompetent and incapacitated, you can become a victim of a system you support. You remember when some Kabiyesi were killed in Ekiti in January of 2024? The woman who was crying at the palace was saying, that Kabiyesi is a good man. Say during the election, him been they talk, say, Edibo fun APC. But when that APC government came, he was one of the first victims that Fulani militias used to do their festival of killing. Guess what? Till today, President Tinubu has not visited Ekiti. Remember that the last time he was on vacation in France trying to think about his policies for about 2 weeks, more than 150 people were killed in Plateau alone between Bokos and Mangu local government. In fact, the last time that President Tinubu even made an attempt to cover up national public outcry to visit Benue State, he could not even visit the community, Yelewata, where the people were being slaughtered in Benue. Let us know that as much as we try to defend government or bad governance, it is about the lives of Nigerians. In the first place, if not for INEC and Nigeria judiciary. That is why I am looking forward to 2027. Because if not for INEC and Nigeria judiciary, will this government be in this office in the first place? If not for INEC. Is the mandate of the current government a clear mandate without any judicial technicalities and calisthenics?
But the mandates went from so many appeals and ended at the Supreme Court.
Yes, ended at the Supreme Court of technicalities.
It said that the president won the election fair and square.
Exactly.
And that the person who came second did not meet the requirement of the law.
Yes.
And that the person who came third did not also meet national spread.
Unfortunately,
so therefore, that either of them did not meet the national requirement of the law.
And therefore,
the person who made the requirement of the law was President Bola Ahmed Tinubu back then as a candidate.
Yes, and it is unfortunate because that is the same Supreme Court that took a person who came third in another state to make him the governor and then unseat the person who was there. They dysfunction. I mean, you know the Supreme Court governor of the state in the southeast.
I don't know.
And then
don't assume, Peter. I don't assume.
You can Google it.
There are so many things you know that I do not know.
You can Google it. You have these things at your fingertips that you can Google. In any case, let me let you know that that dysfunctionality and disorganization began from the Buhari administration. Remember that a sitting Chief Justice of Nigeria was taken out of office based on Code of Conduct ex parte order, that brought in the former Mahmoud Tanko, that brought in the Supreme Court governor. What are we saying? Nigerians must get a system that ensures and guarantees free, fair, and credible elections. That is my own issue. Anybody that emerges from there, if Nigerians want to vote and elect a goat to be their president, it is up to them. But let the process be seen to be free, fair, and credible.
Okay, so Peter, you've been on the vanguard of these reforms for electoral processes in Nigeria.
Yes.
In fact, if you post 1,000 things on your socials, you post almost 800 times about election reforms.
Yes.
And I can imagine that what you are even wearing is talking about fixing INEC.
Yes.
And so what are the proposals? What do you have? When you are criticizing, you have to profess solutions to the problems that you have identified. What are the things? What are you proposing? Because this discussion is about fixing INEC, then fix Nigeria.
Yes.
So what are the proposals?
In fact, we are not criticizing.
Yes.
We submitted the petition that has clear items and demands on it. Victor Afolabi, in 2023, INEC received more than 300 billion from the National Assembly, from government, to conduct elections. We passed an electoral act that says that what is going to be the game changer will be the electronic transmission of results. On the day of the election, presidential election, 25th of February 2023, the INEC chairman said there was a glitch. Therefore, National Assembly results could pass and the presidential could not pass. Is it common sense that in a country that spent more than 300 billion to conduct one exercise, if there is no mischief on the part of politicians, Victor and Afolabi, should we at least have an agreement that it is a normal and moral and legal thing to do to investigate and know what caused the glitch? Is it okay to ask this question?
The glitch has repeated on JAM and WAEC.
Good.
So glitches has been happening.
It is not. Now we must establish, because elections are the foundations of every democracy. Elections are the recruitment process of a nation. In this institution we see right now, one of the most important institutions or departments will be HR, because without the HR you will not be here. Imagine a HR that continues to have glitches, where in a place of getting a medical staff for the institution, you hire a doctor. Where you need a presenter, you bring a carpenter. That is what glitches will cause with INEC. So if we are unable to know what,
so are you saying that the glitches are being caused by bringing a cook to a chef to be
whatever causes the glitches? What I am saying is that we must identify the glitch and ensure that we do not have further glitches. That is why our demand to the National Assembly is clear. We want mandatory electronic transmission of results. Ghana, South Africa, countries that are smaller in size than Nigeria, Democratic Republic of Congo are doing it, Senegal. So what is stopping Nigeria from having a transparent process in terms of picking their leaders? Because guess what? If you fail to have a means of holding them accountable through elections, by 2027 the same people who put you in this situation you are complaining about will come back. So Nigeria will only renew our Shege subscription and continue in this vicious circle.
Who pays for the subscription?
It is Nigerians, our lives, the people in
who collects the money?
I mean, government are living the luxury while they are outsourcing the losses to all of us. Every one of us here, including my brother who is talking there. If you check how much I spend,
is now your brother.
Yes, he's my brother. He's not even now. He's my brother. He's a human being like me. What I wish for myself, I wish for him. If good government come to Nigeria today, he will be beneficiary.
You should first of all find out from him if you want to wear what you are wearing?
It doesn't matter.
No, I think you should find out from me.
Afolabi, should I give you one electoral reform polo?
I will take
So who don't like free and fair election?
I will wear it.
Who don't like free and fair election?
Yes.
So that is our point.
But you have not given me one.
When we were coming here, we did not even have, they are reproducing these things. People who now, where is fund? What we are doing is from personal resources. We are trying to see that the system, who in Nigeria today, by the time you come out, they say you they look for money, they say now cash TVs. All that I have been doing, is there one politician I went to meet to go and say give us? It is because we believe that this country should, see, I don't have a problem with Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I don't have a problem with Muhammadu Buhari. I have a problem with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu because you are commander-in-chief and you have power and your actions affect my life. Today, somebody can be rushed. If one of us, God forbid, somebody slumps from here, you may just be one emergency away from being confirmed dead. Maybe there is no ambulance or there is no oxygen.
And there's nobody to fly you to London.
There is nobody to fly you to Paris where the president is taking his own treatment. Do you know that President Tinubu?
You don't have that fact.
Do you?
Peter, you do not.
Let me tell you the facts that I have.
You cannot tell me that President.
I have the facts. I have the facts, and I will tell you. President Tinubu, as former governor of Lagos State, is living on a pension that includes overseas medical treatment for an unspecified number of family members. It is a fact. That is the document, the pension that President Tinubu is living on. So not only he has access to medical treatment abroad, anybody he decides to call family has that opportunity. When you are governor, you could not make blanket health insurance for citizens of the state, but you coerce the State House of Assembly to give you a pension that covers you for life. And guess what? Even when you are president, you do not relinquish that pension as a former governor. This is absolute.
But there's no law that says that he has to relinquish.
Were laws made for men or were men made for laws? Who made the law in the first place?
It's the people that made the law that your former governor has to be in good health because you still need to tap from his wealth of knowledge
and the same people who made that law could not make a law that every citizen of that state should have blanket health insurance. Today in Nigeria, if you have a renal failure, kidney disease or whatever, you are on social media looking for GoFundMe. Nigerians are dying of malaria in a country where their president is dying in a private clinic in London after being president for 8 years. We can't continue like this.
After leaving office for 2 years.
Then leaving office for 2 years, being former head of state for 3 years. Look at the situation. A former president and head of state in Nigeria died in a private clinic in London. And this is what we are defending as a people. We have to be serious and fix government in this country. If you ask my brother today, what is the cost of renting a house? Do you know how many people are unable to get married and start a family because of the economic hardship? Do you know how many persons are languishing in prisons for offenses they know nothing about due to corruption in the judiciary and law enforcement agencies? If we fail to fix governance, and we are all victims and not citizens.
So for me, we are all victors, and I was thinking you were referring to me.
You know your name is Victor. May God not even allow me Victor become victim, for God's sake. Now that one we go to pray.
You know, we can as well fix the leadership. We can answer some of the leadership questions because INEC is the HR that recruits people into leadership.
Yes.
You know, because you are as good as your HR.
Yes.
Your team is as good as your HR. So if INEC got questionable questions to answer, then Nigerians must impress on INEC to answer this question. And so far, Peter has done a wonderful job. Peter and his colleagues, they have done a wonderful job to push that INEC should put on these reforms. But I didn't hear you say anything about INEC when he made his proposal. I need you to react to his proposals for INEC. They call that INEC should give a guarantee, if not a maximum guarantee, a minimum guarantee that all elections, because it is an aberration in this country that the results, the IREF could transmit National Assembly House of Reps elections results, could also transmit the Senate results, but couldn't. Glitches came in when it has to do with presidential election. It is a question that the leadership of INEC are yet to answer. I don't know what you think about that, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you.
I just have a problem with your voice. You are so low.
Nobody shouting.
Nobody shouting.
Me and Nigerians are hearing me.
All right, let's go.
Now, you are talking about the glitches that happened. Nigeria is a developing country. Are you getting it? We are a developing country. And regarding that, anything can happen. And that is what they said happened. And now we all believe they have made amendment. Let us now look towards 2027. Electoral reform fix INEC. You are shouting. I support you.
Shouting.
I said shouting.
Okay.
Yes.
I support you.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead. Let's make the noise on social media, on media stations. Let them fix what needs to be fixed. And let us now wait for 2027. Because I cannot cut your hair behind you. Are you getting it? We are telling INEC, fix this thing. Let there be electoral reform. Make necessary arrangement so that there can be real-time uploading of results.
Do you think that, would you support a call that says that INEC should that INEC's independence should be protected by the laws of this country, being that the appointment of, because it starts from the head, because they say the fish rot from the head.
Yes.
So the appointment of INEC chairman and national commissioners, we should have an independent body that is saddled with that responsibility, so that we take away oversight from the executive arm of government.
Because we shy away from some things. We Nigerians. We are all Nigerians.
The question is, the answer is
I'm
yes
telling
or no.
you something.
No. I asked a question. It's for you to tell me, will you support it, yes or no? Will you join that call? Because that call has been going on in this country. Should we remove the knee of the executive from the neck of INEC? Now, because they've had that knee on the neck of INEC for too long.
If you remove it, who will be appointing INEC chairman?
An independent body.
Independent body. The independent body. Don't they have somebody in a political party? There is connection everywhere. See, that we fail to realize that there is no way and we touch and there is connection. Before you appoint INEC chairman or state chairman, people meet people. Okay, this is the person we want here. See, there are some things we need to. It's a common sense. It's a common sense. Okay, exonerate INEC, let them be independent. When we say we have state independent electoral commission, are they not influencing them?
Look, the best of man is man. It does not matter whether there is no country in the world where there is no corruption, including Vatican, where the Pope is, and even Mecca, where is the holy land of Islam. It is strong leadership that plugs the loopholes to corruption and makes consequences for bad behavior. The problem with Nigeria is an outright lack of accountability. The fact that if you are a powerful or connected person, you can do anything and nothing will happen. That is the situation. We just witnessed it in the issue of Kwam 1 and Kwam 2 in the airport brouhaha we saw. What we are talking about making electronic transmission of results is the fact that Nigeria must move. You see that process between voter registration, voting, coalition of result and announcement should be done in a way that it is devoid of human interference. And that is what the IREF issue would have been able to address. Because the shrine of INEC corruption and criminality is in coalition centers. The rigging does not even happen from polling units. It is between that polling unit and when they move it, that thing they will call that we are going to force coalition center before we move to state coalition center. That is where figures begin to change.
There's even a known quote and around the world, yes, that the voters don't decide who wins the election.
Yes.
It is those who count.
It is those who count the result. So when you talk about independence of INEC, in fact, the president, there are some people who will even say that the president should not appoint the INEC chairman. The truth is, anybody can decide to negotiate or nominate who should be INEC chairman, but the funds must come from government. It will come from somewhere, and they can decide to tighten your neck.
Right.
Yes.
And the aspirants or candidates.
Yes. Because look, these are persons who, if you have contested election in Nigeria, you have experienced it firsthand. Let me be honest and very clear with you. The foundation of Nigeria's problem is in our electoral process. There is no government or leader in the world who knows that power comes from the people who would fail to perform. Look at Donald Trump, for example. He's probably the strongest leader or the most powerful person in the world as the leader of the United States of America. But do you know that less than 8 months into office, he came January 20th, he's in a hurry to begin to fulfill his campaign promises, talking about immigration, his foreign policy. Why? The US system does not even give you 4 years. In 2 years, I think in 2026, they will have what they call midterm election. Either the Senate or the House will flip to go Democrat, and it puts the president in the White House in a difficult spot.
Because they could remove him from office.
They could impeach him, or they could stall, even if they don't go as far as impeaching him, they could stall his policies and agendas. It makes it difficult. So they know that power comes from the people. The problem with Nigeria is that politicians are not beholden to the people. It is the system that instills discipline and the desire to deliver into politicians. They know that there is what they have done, they call democratization of disenfranchisement, politics without the people. Because they know that whether or not they do what they need to do, 2027, they have a means of rigging. Look, if it's sure for APC government today, they should do free and fair election. The only hope of the current ruling party is in a compromised INEC and judiciary. And if they know that what I am saying is wrong, President Tinubu and Godswill Akpabio, the Senate President, and Tajuddin Abbas, the Speaker, should commit to electoral reform to guarantee free, fair, and credible election. Not the kind of elections in March of 2023, where during governorship election, people were physically beaten out of polling units in Lagos. Were you not here in Lagos State for looking?
Your Excellency, the former governor of Anambra State and Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 elections, Mr. Peter Gregory Obi. Your Excellency, sir, your attention is kindly needed because I believe that this is important. I beg una, if you see this video, make una help me tag His Excellency. Your Excellency, sir, you contested the 2019 presidential election as running mate to the PDP standard bearer, and in 2023 you contested as a presidential candidate under the Labour Party. And in both cases, you ended up in court because you disagreed with the outcomes of the processes. You believed that there were irregularities and the process was not credible or did not reflect the true will of a majority of Nigerians. And now you are preparing for the 2027 presidential elections. Your Excellency, that is why I have to call your attention to this, because we need your voice and support. If you truly believe, sir, that the difference between the Nigeria that is today and the Nigeria that should have been, or the Nigeria that should have been in the process of becoming, was INEC and the electoral process, Your Excellency, why are you not paying attention or putting a spotlight on INEC and that agency? If truly we believe that it was INEC that shortchanged the will of Nigerians, a majority of Nigerians, through irregularities or criminalities that took place in that agency, why are we not talking about the reformations that should go on in preparation and ahead of the 2027 presidential or general elections? Because, Your Excellency, shey na so una come trust INEC reach, abi get the guarantee where you get about INEC where we no know, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, if we say that the people who will refuse to count votes in 2027, let us count them. The power and energy we want to use to count them in 2027, why can we not bring that power or energy now, mount pressure on the National Assembly and get the reforms that we need, and then prepare to still protect our votes in 2027? Why are we postponing our fight when we can see clearly that those who are destroying this country are not pretending about their strategy for 2027? The current ruling party knows, and it is obvious, that there is no path to re-election for them except through INEC and the judiciary. They know it and they are not pretending about it. That is why all the calisthenics going on in INEC is currently going on. So why should those of us who mean well for the country be pretending about what we need to do to fix Nigeria before 2027? In the National Assembly today, we have opposition lawmakers who ran on the popularities of some of you who were at the top of the tickets. Nigerians voted for them believing that they would be agents of change. But they went into the parliament and have conformed and become worse than the status quo that they met there. For more than 2 years, not one opposition lawmaker, whether Labour or PDP, has had the courage to be able to even sponsor a bill that talks about mandatory electronic transmission of results, to at least protect the electoral process legally from judicial technicalities, while we begin to talk about protecting of the votes. Your Excellency, how can we continue in this kind of process? Because for me, Your Excellency, 2027, we have to get it right. 2027, I don't want to be involved in another wise goose chase and then see, Your Excellency, I take God beg you. I have been on this internet for months. We are screaming out my lungs about electoral reform. Now, only person know the thing where your eye don't see. I don't lose weight. I don't enter depression. I don't come out. Only everybody know how they go waka for this Nigeria. Your Excellency, 2027, Your Excellency, 2027, I take God beg you. This issue of INEC and electoral reform, because everybody kept quiet, the INEC chairman who oversaw the criminality that took place in 2023 is still parading himself as an unbiased electoral umpire, trying to make prisoners and every other policy where he will approve, but not going towards mandatory electronic transmission of result. Even though he will leave office before 2027, there are already plans to replace him with someone who will be worse than him. We take God beg you, Your Excellency. Nigerian youth, we are waiting to hear your opinion. The strength of our democracy is not in coalition. It is in free, fair and credible elections. It is in the strength of our institutions, beginning with the electoral system. That is the recruitment process for Nigerian leaders. And I know that you share this sentiment. So if you know that recruitment process is very important, Your Excellency, why they talk about that recruitment process to be reformed and to be fixed? Your Excellency, I take God beg you. Because the one where we did so now, now my last energy, now the last, Your Excellency, allow God to use you. There can be no democracy without free and fair elections. May God, please, we are waiting to hear from you. Nigerians want to hear from you and your opinion about sanitizing the electoral process ahead of 2027.
Welcome back to Gist Line. Now, Nigerians are tired of the same old story. Elections that feel rigged, politicians who play by their own rules, and a system that keeps failing. every time. Everywhere you turn, there is one clear demand: electoral reform. That's what the people are asking for. The people want a system that is transparent, fair, and truly represents their voice. But here is the problem: the ruling government seems to be turning a deaf ear to it. Instead of addressing the flaws, they are busy defending a broken system that benefits them. And this is not just frustrating, it's dangerous for the future of our democracy. Now look at the last few elections: ballot snatching, voter suppression, late arrival of materials, and questionable results. Yet when Nigerians cry for change, the leaders act like everything is fine. It's like they forget that a strong democracy starts with a strong electoral process. If reforms are not made, voter apathy will continue to grow. People will lose faith in the system, and when hope dies, anger rises. And trust me, that's not the kind of energy Nigeria needs right now. The government needs to wake up. Nigerians are not asking for too much. They're just asking for a free and fair elections, proper use of technology like electronic transformation of results, and an independent electoral body that cannot be controlled by politicians, unlike INEC. We need a good one. Is that really too hard to deliver? The truth is simple. Without electoral reform, there is no true democracy. And if the people's voice keeps being ignored, the cry for change will only get louder. Well, let me know what you think in the comment section. But before then, please kindly like, share, and subscribe.